bringing you the truth, or something like the truth. This is the Bottom Line Podcast from 100.7 The Score.
I'm Mike Hebert, owner of Cantex Roofing and Construction. Every day is game day, and we'll get it right when it comes to your roofing, construction, windows, and mirrors. Call Cantex Roofing and Construction today. Together, we are one serving you.
Hey, what's good? Happy Monday. Good afternoon and welcome. This is The Bottom Line on 100.7 The Score, 100.7 The Score mobile app, and on television, Fox 34 News Now, YouTube, Fire Stick, Roku, Apple TV. A lot of different ways to take us in, however you're doing so. We thank you for making us part of your Monday afternoon. Alongside Trent Hilliard, I'm Chois Woodman. Lucas White across the way taking care of us today. You can also hit us up. Your thoughts, your comments, your questions, whatever you have, bring it in on the Yates Flooring Center chat line through that 100.7 The Score mobile app. You can take the mobile app anywhere with you, even listening out in Thousand Sticks, Kentucky.
It's a lot of sticks.
That is a lot of sticks. Probably at least that many there.
If you are living in the sticks, that is the place.
I would guess so. Yeah. What's up, Trent? How are you today?
I'm doing great, and you?
I'm good. It's summertime, so these summer shows, you never know. There's really not much to talk about. So
slow news day.
Unfortunately, the season came to a close earlier than we wanted for Tech softball. Thought we would talk some of that, but the topic of the day, likely driven by the chat line, will be Brendan Sorsby and him getting the injunction granted that a lot of people did not expect or did not think was going to happen. But he gets it with the clause in there that he will miss the first 2 games of the season.
Right.
But Brendan Sorsby will play football for Texas Tech if this holds. In 2026. This is big news on all sorts of fronts. Obviously, in the micro here in Lubbock, Texas, huge for Texas Tech because, well, you've got your quarterback you anticipated you would have for the majority of the season. In the macro, much bigger news because of what it means for college football and the NCAA and everything moving forward. Precedence. Precedent is a word that's been used a million times in the last few weeks.
Right.
So, huge news for the world of college sports, but Brendan Sorsby gets his injunction granted. Were you surprised when you saw that this morning?
I was. I was surprised. I wasn't surprised that he got eligibility. I was surprised that it was only a 2-game suspension. I was expecting more of a half year, 6 games, something a little more that kind of puts it, hey, is it worth it to you type thing, maybe back on him a little bit. But the 2-game was very surprising to me.
I think that I actually expected it to be a full season and then the negotiation happening from there, which I do think is still on the table.
Right.
So to just give the cliff notes right now, Brendan Sorsby, if the season started tomorrow, would sit out 2 games, and then he would play after that. But it doesn't start tomorrow. There's still time in between, and there will likely be an appeal that comes from the NCAA's side of things, or you'll see some sort of settlement, so there is no appeal. Meaning if Brendan Sorsby's camp is concerned that they could lose the appeal, they could try to settle with the NCAA on maybe 4 games or something along those lines. Say, hey, we'll take a 4-game suspension, but we're dropping all of this right here. You could see that happen. You could also see the NCAA get the appeal or go for the appeal and just go for a longer suspension within the appeal. Or they can just say, no, we don't want him playing at all and go all the way. I think they would lose that case.
Right.
Probably. But they could appeal for more games, and that could be part of it. So all of these things are possibilities. I think if you ask most people prior to this morning, most, I think, would have said Brendan Sorsby's not playing for Texas Tech in 2026. I wasn't in that camp, but had nothing to do with knowledge of anything, had more to do with just watching how the NCAA versus a court goes.
Yeah.
But if you ask most people, that's where it would be. Now I would say that pendulum has swung to, I don't know if we're in the 90% range that he's going to play for Texas Tech, but there's still one more option that we didn't mention. He could still select the supplemental draft.
Right.
That's still a possibility until it's not, until the 22nd. So pretty wild where we live in college football. The NCAA has, as we've seen over and over, no power, little to no power, and we see it on display here again. I know there will be lots that are frustrated or irritated that this went this way. There's some that are very vocal about it already. I don't really know how to feel as a Tech fan, if I'm being honest. Like, I know what's right and what's wrong and all of this. It's just, I also know the NCAA is extremely corrupt themselves. And
I think that's the big part of what, they don't have any power because they haven't ever shown any power. They have never stood up and said, boy, Kansas, you violated these rules.
Right.
Sorry, we're holding you to the, it's been selective with what they've done. The old joke that Kansas screwed up, Oklahoma State's going to get punished again or whatever.
Yeah.
That's where they've lost their power. Is you can't all of a sudden selectively come back and say, okay, now we're going to enforce this or that,
Yeah.
And so, yeah, the NCAA doesn't have, and courts step in and make these things, and that's where I'm not sure how all that works as far as, okay, he does play and then it's changed later, or how does that affect Texas Tech and is there any chance that we would have to forfeit any games? That's my main thing. Is we'll go by what I can't imagine that, because you're abiding by the court, and what the court says you have to do. Now you can't come back and say nope, you're off, because you're going to get sued for it. Mm-hmm. So where does that stand in that aspect of things? I think is kind of still a little bit of a gray area from what I can tell, but like I said, I am not a lawyer or anything.
None of us are
of that nature, so I don't know how that works and who has more pull in something like a forfeited game situation.
Sure. Tech has put out a statement. Kirby Hokut's put out a statement. We'll read that with some headlines. Let you know. I mean, it lines up with a lot of what you'd probably expect them to say, based off of what Lawrence Skuvenik said a couple of weeks ago, all of that. But we'll go through that. A few other headlines. We got Super Regionals going on right now. NBA Finals happening tonight. Rangers hitting home runs after getting shut out. All sorts of stuff to get into. So here's the bottom line. We're hanging out with you till 3 o'clock today on 100.7 The Score.
Getting to the point, but taking the scenic route to get there. This is the Bottom Line Podcast from 100.7 The Score.
Happy to be part of your Monday. This is the Bottom Line on 100.7 The Score and the 100.7 The Score mobile app. Chois Woodman, Jamie Lent, Lucas, and Evelina all with you from the First United Bank studio. Y'all keep the thoughts and comments coming in on the Yates Flooring Center chat line. We'll get back to a few more of your thoughts and comments as we roll along. I changed over to the Pat McAfee show just now, so forgive me. He had Mike Greenberg on. They were overall happy for Sorsby and Tech, but they all stated they just realized the NCAA has zero power. Welcome to the club. And schools whose self-reported infractions must feel stupid now because this court ruling shows the little power that the NCAA has. I think part of the problem, Jamie, here, and where courts don't take the NCAA that seriously, is the bed that they've made for themselves on other situations. The ruling with the Indiana coach factors into this conversation, where they gave a 30% suspension on that. The lack of rulings against major programs in the past, when there's clear violations with Kansas, when there's clear violations with Auburn, when there's clear violations with these other major programs, and they choose not to do something, or they give a slap on the wrist type of that.
I just don't know how much the courts are taking that into account. I mean, are the courts making the jokes?
The Indiana
about,
thing, for
are
sure.
Are the courts taking into account that Kansas cheats, so Oklahoma State gets punished like we all do and we all joke about it?
The integrity of the NCAA is definitely taken into account on that.
Yeah, I don't know about the Indiana thing, maybe. Yeah, I don't know about the other stuff.
I'll be firm and say absolutely the Indiana thing's taken into account, because it was, in this case it is, because it was presented in this case. I'm sure there are not heads all throughout the athletic department, but I worship God, not Texas Tech. I'll root for his number. Okay, that's a good thing. Worship God.
Yeah, no doubt.
Above all, I don't know what that was in reference to. But always good. I won't say Sorsby didn't make a mistake, but I think it's ridiculous to categorize him as an ignorant kid, and certainly not for the last few years of gambling. I work with college students all the time, and there's a huge difference between a freshman and a student who has been around 4 years. Sorsby may have been an ignorant kid in the beginning, but I don't think that excuse would have worked by the time he got to Texas Tech or even before he left Cincinnati. Well, seemingly what he's being targeted for, that sounds like a terrible phrase. It seems like what Sorsby's, the biggest case against Sorsby, is how I should put this, was the bets at Indiana. Yeah, which is the freshman part that you're talking about.
That's fair. But it was...
Yes, it continued, and that goes into the addiction part that they're arguing. Again,
but it seems like the case from the or the response from the judge wasn't really factoring in the addiction part at all. Wasn't that the mental health part?
I thought
it talked about irreparable, issues with him and all that, but none of them had talked about his well-being. Now later on, it said in order for him to stay, on the good side, he had to do these things that were supposedly helping his mental health and his addiction and all that good stuff. But, I mean, the reasons that were given there were not about his mental health.
Interesting. Because the way I read through it, the injury that they're talking about was injury to the mental health to me in the statement from the judge, which we'll go through here in a moment. How do we know that Texas Tech didn't know? We don't. All we know is...
We do not know.
All we know is that Texas Tech, the moment that's out there in the public that Texas Tech knew was, about a week before the spring game. He bet on his own team. Social media is brain polluted. Okay. Sorsby just won $1,000 on call sheet on his verdict. That was funny. That was funny. The same texture sent a picture of Raider Red as the judge. I am glad that the initial judge
100%
recused himself
100%.
Because that would have
felt even dirtier.
Would have, yeah. I am glad that happened. This judge, I believe, is a Houston graduate, so take that for whatever you want.
Yeah, that doesn't keep the national media from pretending it was a local judge.
Correct. It is still a judge in Lubbock County, so that's...
But he's not from Lubbock County.
He's not from Lubbock County. Correct.
Yeah, he just came here to hear the case.
Correct.
Yeah, I wish...
It was a courtroom.
I wish we weren't insinuating that by all the national media.
So it would have been better if that judge was in...
We should have gone to him.
If you went to Dallas, Texas, or whatever.
We'll come to Fort Worth.
Sure.
We'll come to Houston, whatever.
Honestly, that would have been better. It's not like Sorsby was part of this physically, present in this. So that probably would have been better for the optics of everything.
Yeah, that's just so.
Because the lazy reporting that goes on all over.
And I don't know if it's lazy choice or they're trying to be vague with it, so it makes it look that way.
Fits your narrative better.
Yeah. There's been a little bit of both.
How much do you think that?
Because sometimes they specifically say local judge, which is inaccurate.
Correct.
And sometimes they kind of insinuate it was in a local court, meaning it was a local judge doing it, but. Still, so that almost feels like that's not ignorance. That's trying to spin it your way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's see. Never thought we'd secretly be hoping for the Jayhawks to do good at anything at all. Good. There's someone else out there, so I don't feel as terrible about it.
Yeah, I'm not really.
Jamie's for OU, which is okay, I guess. Nothing's good in this situation. You going for Troy to win it all? Is that what we're hoping for?
No, I'll root for Oklahoma.
Dadgummit. You don't have to say that out loud.
Yeah, don't let David Collier know, but yeah.
Oh, he knows. He's listening right now. Is it just me, or does it seem like Jamie is really disappointed by the Sorsby news?
I am.
Okay.
I am.
I guess I'm sitting. Like I said last week, I guess I'm
not a win-at-all-costs guy.
I'm about as neutral as it comes on this. I would have been just fine if he didn't get granted the injunction, and then it's Will Hammond's turn to turn over to. But I also am. I can see so many different sides to this that I haven't. Planted my feet in the ground anywhere. So there's some dirtiness that I absolutely feel with it, but at the same time, it's like, what even parameters are you playing in anymore?
I think the stance from Choice, and I think a lot of Red Raider fans, is not that Brendan Sorsby didn't do anything wrong.
Correct.
And that Brendan Sorsby doesn't deserve to be punished harshly. The stance from so many is the NCAA is stupid. The NCAA is dumb.
You're not wrong.
I don't think most people think that Brendan Sorsby was in the right here. I think they just think the NCAA is dumb. That's the
probably
argument.
An apt way to put it for it. Yeah, because
that's the argument.
I'm just, and right now in the world of college sports, there are no fences. So it's kind of like I will still have some morals where I'll draw the line personally, and crimes against women are up there near the top. So if there's those sorts of things, but anything that's not like this doesn't gain a competitive advantage. Where does his gambling gain a competitive advantage?
Okay.
That's what I'm talking about. No, Sorsby
having
coming back
Sorsby on the team
absolutely does. I'm talking about the actual thing he did wrong didn't gain a competitive advantage over other teams. So then it's like, I don't know. Someone else just needs to tell me how to feel, because I don't know how to feel right here. I'm just floating in the clouds. But I do know that on a Saturday, if Brendan Sorsby's tossing touchdowns to Micah Hudson and Coy Aiken, I'm going to be celebrating. I know that. So it's the bottom line. More from you, a question of the day from me. Next on 100.7 The Score.
Bringing you the truth, or something like the truth. This is the Bottom Line Podcast from 100.7 The Score.
Happy to be part of your Monday. This is the Bottom Line 100.7 The Score and the 100.7 The Score mobile app. Chois Woodman, Jamie Lent here in the First United Bank studio. Y'all keep your thoughts and comments coming in on the Yates Flooring Center chat line through that 100.7 The Score app. Agree, disagree, react in any sort of way. Before we do any of that, let's get to a question.
Time now for Jamie's question of the day on 100.7 The Score. Brought to you by someone not named Jamie and presented by Connecticut of West Texas. Life's hard, your water shouldn't be.
All right, Jamie. Lucas, our fine listening audience. Not surprisingly, my question will revolve around Brendan Sorsby and Texas Tech football. With the news today, how do your season expectations change, if any?
Thought you'd win the Big 12 championship without him. Thought you'd lose in the first round of the playoff. Have much more confidence that you could win a game in the playoff.
Okay. Lucas?
I was kind of iffy on the Big 12 repeat without Sorsby, but now that he's back, definitely puts that conversation back on the table to repeat the Big 12 championship. And then, like Jamie said, win a college football playoff game. Kind of teetering on the line of getting a bye also, so that I can build the momentum. So definitely with Sorsby back, expectations are higher for me.
I think you'll have the bye because I think there's a great chance you're going undefeated. So,
and that's where mine change right there. I think you probably would have lost a Big 12 game, and I think with that beforehand, I would have guessed that the committee would have kept you out of the bye territory. Last year, you were what, the fourth seed, played the 5. I think because of your performance, fair or unfair, in the Orange Bowl, because there was a 0 there. If you ran into a situation where Oregon and Texas Tech had similar resumes this coming season, which they had very similar resumes last year, the difference was Tech was a Big 12 champion. I think you would flip those and Tech would be a 5 and 4. So I think my expectations change where I don't believe Tech would have been in a bye in the playoff, and now I do.
Okay.
Which I also think you will.
Is that good?
I don't know. I do, because I'm like, does that make me think you're going to win a game in the playoff or not? Because the record's not good there. I don't know. Indiana figured it out in 1 year, so maybe Tech can. Maybe the experience helps you out there. Oregon was terrible in their. Wait, did they had the bye? Yeah, they had the bye the year before, and it didn't go well for them. So who knows? So that's where my expectations change. Like most, national title hopes are elevated more than without him. The one question I have is how much of a distraction is this throughout the year? Because you absolutely know ESPN will live in it, just like they did with softball this year. When ESPN can find a storyline they can be lazy with, not have to do any research anywhere else, they just waller in it. They do it every time. So
yeah, and again, I don't even know that it's laziness as much as they have a stake in the SEC, and I think it's an agenda they're wanting to push.
Fair.
So I don't know that it's them being lazy. I think it's them putting effort into spinning it the way they want the story to be told.
And that probably is the truth with softball too, and how that all goes. So
yeah, I don't think those play-by-play announcers in softball were being lazy. I think that they didn't like the way Texas Tech had done business. I think
there's some laziness to the fact that they can say, hey, look, this Mia Williams transfer from Florida, and not showing her numbers often enough of how much she's improved at Texas Tech. That's the lazy journalism, if you want to call it that, because every single one of those players' numbers were drastically better at Texas Tech than they were a season ago, even though they were top players in the portal. You can use the side of development after you've come to Texas Tech too, and showing how good of a hitting coach Jerry Glasgow is. Now, they all benefit from playing in a stacked lineup too. But there's still, when you're hitting X number of home runs more, when Mia Williams is hitting 10 more home runs than she did last year, when Caitlin Terry's batting average is up almost 200 points and she leads the conference, then like those are things that where I use the word lazy, because they can still do those things. And maybe it is agenda driven. You're probably right on that. But so back to the...
I know by watching the games that I saw that information or heard that information. Okay. I didn't know that beforehand.
Okay.
And the only way I would have found that out is by watching ESPN.
The games.
Yeah.
I guess the number of times they repeat the transfer portal thing within a game versus that is
totally
where
fair.
It's what I guess it's so weighted, because most people aren't watching a 7-inning game. They'll hear the transfer portal thing for sure because they're bringing it up every inning. Back to the football, though. How much distraction? Are you worried that it is a distraction? Because you will get – that's just on TV side that we're talking about.
Yeah, I think
how much does he get just hammered from opposing fans everywhere he goes? And the team.
Absolutely that's going to happen, right?
But to the level of
you've
where
earned that, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely. But to the level where it's a distraction.
Well, I think that I have faith in Joey McGuire having his team ready to play and making sure that the outside noise is not bothering them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I don't worry about that, thinking it's going to cost you games or anything like that. But, Brendan Sorsby getting razzed by fans, yeah, that's going to happen.
As it should. I'm not saying that. I guess how much does it go away after Big 12 media days? No. Does this storyline fade by the end of the season when you're playing the most meaningful football? When they're getting asked questions in press conferences?
Nope.
When you're at the Big 12 championship? Is this all that they want to talk about at the college football playoff media settings? So that's where I'm.
Last year.
When is the first time we hear Brendan Sorsby in front of a microphone?
Last year it never went away.
No.
The story of transfers, right?
It didn't.
It never went away. So this is not going to go away.
No,
but I don't think it's going to cost the Red Raiders the game. Like I said, I have enough faith in Joey McGuire as a coach and a motivator that he'll have his team ready. So
fair enough.
It's
just a question. I don't.
Yeah, I don't think you should fear that choice. I think that I think that it'll be a talking point everywhere you go. Every time the Red Raiders are brought up on any podcast, any sports talk show, it's going to be brought up.
Yeah.
The frustrating part for Red Raider fans will be, you'll want to say, "Hey, we got other guys doing good things. Could we just focus on how the great story that is Micah Hudson, or that Cam Dickey is having another great season?" As Red Raider fans, we'll be like, "Hey, that's pretty cool." Nobody else is going to do that. Yeah. It's just not going to be that way. Yeah.
Texter here, on a law level, I don't have a problem with the reinstatement if the law is clear that Sorsby suffered. But from a strictly moral level, it just seems like this is the case that's hard to just say mental health and leave with that. Was there really no one that was concerned and called this out before he was caught? If so, I just don't understand how anyone can just say a 2-game suspension is fair punishment. Thousands of bets. Okay, yeah, plenty more. A good question here. Do y'all think that this ruling will spawn conference governance? We'll get into that and what I think it spawns on the other side.
Bringing you the truth, or something like the truth. This is the Bottom Line Podcast from 100.7 The Score.
It's that time of day. Time to tell someone they're wrong. Chois Woodman, Jamie Lentz, Lucas White with you. Got about a half hour left. We'll bring you most interesting facts of the day in 15 minutes. Ahora, we get to tell Lucas he's wrong today. What do you got for us?
According to Ross Dellinger, Big 12 ADs tell Yahoo Sports they've had serious talks on not playing Texas Tech. And one SEC AD says there should be conversations about not playing tech in any sport. Tell me I'm wrong. This is just smoke. And okay, let me flip that. There will be one Big 12 school in AD that actually pushes this forward and will boycott a game against Texas Tech this football season.
You're wrong.
A Big 12 school this year?
There are no Big 12 schools that have enough power. We've talked a lot about power today. So I think you're wrong because no one has the gumption to do this or the power to do it and back it up. And I think the league office would have the power to withhold their money if they chose to do this. Because I would guess the league office is backing Texas Tech up here. And I think this is also hyper hypocritical. It's hard to say. Because I think, again, feel how you want about this. I would guess 95% of schools, there may be a few, 95% of the schools would have handled this the way that Texas Tech handled backing up Brendan Sorsby.
I think almost everybody would.
That's why I'm going 95. I'm giving some leeway, maybe that someone's like, no, we'll dismiss you. But 95%, I think, would have backed up and handled this the same way Texas Tech did. Not just blasting forward with it, but saying, oh, we'll support him, and if he doesn't get the injunction, then so be it, but we're behind him.
Yeah, I can't imagine. I think a school would have to support their guy. Maybe BYU's the one school
Possibly.
that you would say no.
Yeah, I would guess they can, because they can always fall back on their moral code or whatever they call it. Sorry, Mormons. I don't know.
Yeah, I just I think everybody would be doing what Texas Tech is doing in this situation. I don't think anybody would have just cut him and said, you can't play here. I don't. As far as Lucas's question, yeah, I don't think I think the Big 12, there would be so much punishment from the Big 12, so I think you're wrong. I don't think a Big 12 school will try to do that.
None of these schools can afford a quote-unquote game check. If they were to, they would lose all their money from this game. That
Now, the first part of it, Lucas, I wonder about. I don't know. I mean, how could the SEC, how could the SEC be deciding, like, that's a good idea, hey, we're going to stand on this soapbox and say no way, when, there's been, just go back to the Georgia situation, right, with Carter and all that kind of stuff, and you're like, man, that, you talk about, super hypocritical, right?
Yep.
Yeah, that would be like, you probably, I think you guys live in a lot of really large, expensive glass houses.
Very much.
You probably shouldn't be throwing any stones.
Georgia's got people killing people out there. So it's... And everybody's got sins. Everybody's got skeletons in the closet or out in the open.
Yeah.
When you start having
all the
contests
Baylors are out
to
in the
see...
open.
Yeah, Baylor's are... Well, we don't even know if they're all out
Nobody
there or not.
boycotted them.
No, if there was ever a reason to boycott, Baylor would have been a pretty good one. I just can't see this happening. There could be some schools that display frustration with it openly, but yeah, nothing's going to come of this unless here's who has the true power out there. We talk about Greg Sankey and the SEC, and the people that hold the most power would be as if ESPN or Fox Sports, and it'd really take both of them getting together, and which they can't do that together. But if they got together and said, we're not airing Texas Tech's football games until if there's no Brendan Sorsby.
Crazy talk. The drama that is involved in Texas Tech's football team right now,
that's why it won't happen,
will
right, Jeremy?
absolutely draw
draw
more
the numbers.
fans. We will probably be the most watched team in the country this year.
Did you see how softball was? They were the most watched team.
Yeah.
In
ESPN or Fox would
Women's
be
College World
dumb
Series.
not to say we're not going to air their games.
Texas Tech drew more numbers than any team in the Women's College World Series.
And the Big 12 would absolutely not allow that to happen.
No, they wouldn't. So that's the only way that someone could have that much power would be as if ESPN and Fox said, we're not airing your games. But it'd be the dumbest thing for them to do because, like you said, people will hate watch Texas Tech this year. They will. Lots of it. And it happened last year. Tech was the most watched team in the Big 12 last year. You're not going to have – at this point, you will not have a game on ESPN Plus, which is a big advantage. Because the game that would have been on ESPN Plus was ACU, and that one's already been announced for FS1. So you're not going to have one on ESPN Plus. I don't think any of your conference games will be on there either because people will watch the Red Raiders. There's a couple towards Jamie from earlier. Bravo, Jamie. And then the next
Damien?
one says, couldn't disagree more. Until every team or school is held to the same rules and standards as everyone else, I don't care that Tech is getting to have their guy play. Tech and other schools have gotten the shaft for years, while schools like Texas and Kansas got away with way worse.
I think they have played by the same rules. You can't gamble on your sport. I think everybody's always played by that rule.
Yeah, but then gotten away with other ones, I think is the point that Texas making.
But the rule, that's the rule.
That particular rule.
That
sure.
rule, other rules, we're not talking about other rules. We're talking about that rule. Everybody's played by the same one.
Could you guys see later down the road with the quarterback playing, it could come back to bite Tech in the sense of the playoff committee had to choose between Tech and another school that they take the other school to make a point. That's where you've got to be good, really good. You can't put yourself in the position to be the 11th or 12th team because that absolutely could factor in. Now, could it be the difference in being the 4th or 5th team of having a bye or not? Sure. I'm not sure that I don't want the game in Lubbock instead of the bye at this point. So so I don't know that it makes that much of a difference. Now, will they misseed you massively on purpose where you should be a 3 seed and they put you as the 8? I don't think that would happen. I think that would be a little extreme. But you never know. But if it's the difference in one to 2 spots, I could see that happening. I wouldn't think that's crazy. We've seen committees make decisions to leave teams out based off of how good the team is they perceive without a quarterback that got hurt. So you never know what the committee would elect to do. Where is the outrage today from ESPN now that Patty Gasso says she will hit the portal? I see none. So,
Was she leaving Oklahoma?
I guess. I don't know.
Maybe it's because they don't care.
No. That was weird wording on the text.
Okay. She's going to use...
Gasso's saying she's going to have to go into the portal to get get players.
Get players.
Ready to hit the reset button for OU softball. Find transfer portal prices. Or pieces. Not prices. Or prices. There you go. They don't get outraged by that. ESPN doesn't because you know why. Save those questions for Collier. He's our softball expert. And OU expert. All right. We'll bring you most interesting facts of the day. Continue this conversation. Coming up, it's the bottom line on 100.7 The Score.
Getting to the point, but taking the scenic route to get there. This is the Bottom Line Podcast from 100.7 The Score.
It is time for the most interesting facts of the day. Brought to you by Dos Equis and the most interesting man in the world. He's Jamie. I'm Chois. Lucas with you for about 10 more minutes. Jamie, did you happen to know, this one's for Lucas, that Mississippi State has a pitcher named Jack Bauer?
I think I saw that this weekend.
And he is named for Kiefer Sutherland's character on the TV show 24. And he also wears the number 24 because of it.
That's craziness.
That's pretty cool. Jamie, did you know Josh Young has more games with multi-hit games than he does with 0 hits this year? Since April 1st, that is. Yeah. He's hit 341 since April 1st. 21 multi-hit games, 0 hit games, 12.
It's not like there were a lot of games before April 1st.
Not a ton, but he was not hitting well.
Yeah.
Then,
remember he started over 12.
I think it was over 17.
17.
I think he got to 17. Yeah, it was.
Okay.
If you put that at average at like 250 during that stretch, he's hitting probably close to 350 right now this season. He has been on an absolute tear. Jamie, did you know Nicolas Cage turned down the roles of Shrek in Shrek, Neo in The Matrix, Harry in Dumb and Dumber, and Aragorn in Lord of the Rings? Those roles ended up going to Mike Myers, Keanu Reeves, Jeff Daniels, and Viggo Mortensen. That sounds real.
Okay.
Those are some big roles to turn down.
Yes.
Shrek,
and yet he
Neo.
still had an extremely successful career, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
You got a favorite movie?
Nicolas Cage. Probably The National Treasure.
That's mine.
Yeah.
That's mine.
What's the one? Con Air. I like
That's
that
a
one
good
too.
one.
I like Con Air.
Raising Arizona is funny.
Yeah.
Have you seen it?
I think I started.
The 80s movie.
I think I got bored on that one.
Really?
Yeah.
Jamie, did you know? Oh, by the way, Nick Cage has this new like Spider-Man series thing that's on Netflix, Disney. I don't know. I'm intrigued, and I'm not a big superhero guy. Jamie, did you know Indonesia experiences more earthquakes than any country in the world?
I didn't. That's bad for them.
Did you know Singapore Airlines has a special compartment in some of its planes to hold a body if someone dies on the flight?
Well, that's smart. You wouldn't want them just sitting there right next to you and
No, that would be bad.
laid out in the middle. You can't push the cart through.
But why just Singapore Airlines? What are we doing in all the other airlines?
They're just more prepared.
I guess so. Do you know most cruises have like a morgue on board?
Makes sense.
Because there's so many old people that go on cruises. Now, I think most cruises have a spot for 2 bodies.
Okay.
If they get to a third, they have to clear out like a full freezer full of ice cream or whatever. So they'll have like a giant ice cream party or whatever. And they put the body in the freezer. That has happened.
I think that's what happened in Goonies.
Seems legit.
Yeah.
That's a movie that I did not like and I've come around on. I didn't like it the first time I saw it. Of course, it was in statistics class at the end of the school year.
What?
I don't know. Jamie, did you
I don't know who it was on the chat lines. I don't know if it was this show or another show that wanted me to watch Dodgeball this weekend.
It wasn't me. I was not here for this.
Lucas, were you here for this?
Wanting him to?
People were wanting me to watch Dodgeball. I don't know if it was
must have
this
been the
show or
morning
the
drive.
other show. I watched Dodgeball this weekend and I barely cracked a smile.
I don't.
It was too dumb for me.
There are movies you have to be in the right mindset to watch.
Like what I needed.
So you haven't seen it?
6 or 8 beers
No, he just watched it this
For
weekend
the first time
for
this
the
weekend?
first time. Yeah, I mean the chat line told me to do something, and I always follow directions. I'm a rule follower, Choice.
Yeah.
So out of 10, what would you?
3.
Okay.
No, it's too. There's some quotable.
I think I'd give it a 5 out of 10.
I'm like in the 7.5 range. It's funny. Jamie, did you know there are only 5 states in America with no state sales tax?
Did not know that.
Oregon, Delaware, New Hampshire, Montana, and Alaska.
Okay.
And finally, Jamie, did you know peacocks hunt, kill, and eat snakes?
Oh wow.
They only actually eat them if they're hungry, but they will attack and kill any snake they come across just for the heck of it.
Okay, you've just found my new favorite animal.
You could have just bring a peacock. We had a snake in the backyard, and we didn't even kill it. Not kidding. At lunchtime, Elijah's like, snake on the back porch. And then the daughter is the one like, oh, let me catch it. So Jazzy goes and catches this garter snake. Once we identified, knew it wasn't. It was one of the bigger garter snakes I've seen, but
Good for you, Choice. It's great.
you haven't taught your daughters how to catch snakes.
No, and I will not.
It was fine.
That's good.
There were no strikes. It did not try to bite.
Mm-hmm.
Saw a bull snake in the backyard on Friday too. So we got 2
Do you
snakes
live on
within a week.
den, a snake den or something?
I don't know.
Why do you have so many snakes?
Probably because the mower broke. We haven't been able to mow down some of the tall stuff back there.
How long ago did the mower break?
Well,
What are we doing, Woodman?
Like
Get it
2 weeks
fixed.
ago. 2 weeks ago, and I did borrow mother-in-law's mower to mow the front, but the stuff in the back got too tall to knock down with the weed eater around the edges. So now we got to get the kids to take an axe to it.
An axe to the grass.
Yeah, we don't have grass in the back. It's all weeds, man. It's all weeds. Come on. Okay. Who has money for a backyard? We only have money for a front yard. Let's go. It's weeds in the backyard. So there's some tall weeds that need an axe taken to them.
Goodness.
Come on, Jamie. You don't know how we rednecks live.
So it's really business in the front, party in the back.
Pretty well. Pretty well.
Okay.
Our house is a mullet. That's how it's going.
That's good.
It was done. No, it's well done. Kirk says Spider-Man Noir on Amazon Prime. There we go. That was the new Nick Cage one. Did Choice ever watch Bull Durham? I did, and I would say I liked Dodgeball more than Bull Durham. Bull Durham's like a 6 to me. It was okay. Baseball movies, I mean, there's a lot more. And I'm a big Kevin Costner guy. Probably not as big as Jamie, but up there. Did Choice put the snake in Jamie's desk drawer? I haven't got enough savings yet to do something like that. I'm going to have to wait until
Retirement time.
retirement time before I do that. If I ever win the lottery, Jamie's going to have to watch out. That's when there's going to be a snake in his office as a prank, because that'll be what signifies that I no longer have a job. I think that'd be a friendship ender probably too.
There's no question.
I still want to stay friends with Jamie whenever I get canned from here, so that would not be a good thing to do to him. I would never do that. Sorsby's a rental player. He doesn't bleed red and black like you, me, or Will Hammond. Okay. Another texter, I was hoping he would have been ineligible to avoid this. Wheels is a dang good quarterback. I hope so. I hope we get a great taste of Will Hammond at some point. I hope. I mean, the reality
Hopefully
is...
games 1 and 2, right?
Yeah, I'm hoping it's 1 and 2. What if he goes and hangs 70 points in both of those games? It won't matter. You've gone through too much for this quarterback. Texter here, I'm absolutely interested in seeing what the Tech ratings will be this season. People will tune in to watch the circus, and people will absolutely tune in to watch Tech lose so they can jump all over social media and laugh and bash them. But the reality is...
Got bad news for them. I
I
don't
know.
think they're going to lose very much.
I don't know that they'll lose a game in the regular season. I mean, it's hard to go undefeated, as we saw last year. But if you do have a healthy quarterback, I think you would have gone undefeated if you had a healthy quarterback all last year.
I do too.
So,
Up until that last game.
well, that regular season.
Yeah.
We can go with the regular season. All right. Y'all have a great rest of your day. You still got Sorsby thoughts or otherwise, go head over to Double T 97.3 for Tech Talk coming up next. For Jamie Lentz, Trent Hilliard, Lucas White, I'm Chois Woodman. Been the bottom line on 100.7 The Score.
This has been the Bottom Line Podcast from 100.7 The Score. Go to 100-7thescore.com for more from the Double T Sports Network.